today is Farmers' Day here in Ghana, and it is a day to recognize deserving farmers and fisher folks who have distinguished themselves in their various fields. Well, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana has raised concerns about challenges facing the country's agricultural sector and urged government to shift focus from ceremonial events to addressing critical issues. Well, there would be a ceremonial event later on where the president would award some of the top best farmers. But then let's bring in Bismarck Owusu-Norte. He is Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association. Thank you for your time here on Newsdesk. I just want to get your thoughts. Do you think we should do away with the ceremony?
Well, thank you very much for having me. And once again, on behalf of peasant farmers, I want to extend our warm commendations to all farmers across the country. Indeed, if you look at the struggle that farmers go through to produce food on the table, then you know that it is worth commending them on a day like this. If you read our statement, the peasant farmers is not necessarily against the award of farmers who have done a lot to help the nation. In fact, we are of the opinion that for farmers, it needs to be the most highly recognized group of people, considering the key role that they play in the country. Where we have issues are the fact that we seem to focus more on the ceremonial aspect of recognizing farmers, whilst we are neglecting the key challenges that are confronting farmers in the country. And over the years, we always highlight the perennial problems that our farmers are facing. Issues around access to infrastructure, financing. There are major issues that day in, day out, we hear government only pay lip service to them. Even in this year, I think there are very critical things that we feel that is high on the agenda, and that if the government is really committed about the concerns of farmers, I think we should have seen more action from them other than just doing a ceremonial event to award them. And we highlighted three main key things that are of importance to us. The first one was the issue of galamsey. And we are very clear on the devastating effect it's having on our farmers, how it is threatening their livelihoods, the pollution of our water bodies. And unfortunately, the government's action or inaction towards dealing with galamsey is not a testament of their commitment to addressing farmers' concerns. So you can't be celebrating a Farmers' Day when a critical issue that is concerning farmers about their land, about their waters, you've not critically addressed it. That's something that we find a bit hypocritical. On the second part has to do with the dry spell that occurred in some part of the country, where we all know that farmers lost their farms because of the dry spell. And we were promised by government to get some relief packages. As I'm speaking to you now, issues about the packages are not forthcoming. There's no form of transparency in the whole process. We're told the distribution will start from the 10th of October. We are in November. And as I can tell you in authority that no single farmer has received any item as part of distribution relief effort. So it's like the government is just paying a lip service to the whole thing. And then most importantly is the government's own policy of agricultural transformation, the PFAG, which was launched in March this year. That particular program has become a catastrophic failure, because if you look at the design of the program, the main objectives the program was supposed to achieve, the implementation has deviated. And I can tell an authority that less than 10% of farmers have actually benefited or even included the program. And it has become an avenue for political exposed persons to manipulate the system, take fertilizers, and supply to their own cronies. So with these problems that are faced are on board, we felt that on a day like this, the government should rather be showing commitment to ensuring that the plight of farmers are being addressed. But instead, we see that there is more attention towards the ceremony and giving of speeches and making big statements, when the issues confronting the farmers are still there and are still troubling the farmers.
You have just highlighted some of the key things you would like government to address. I would like you to clarify for me with the issue of the relief items for farmers affected by dry spell. Are you saying that as we speak, no farmer in Ghana has received the relief items that the Agric Minister assured was going to be distributed?
Right. So, with the relief items, at least the scanty information we had was that they were in different categories.
Okay.
So the farmers were going to receive inputs, fertilizer and seeds. Others too were going to receive cash transfer. That's for those who there's evidence that they lost their farms to the dry spell. And then we were told they were also targeting LEAP beneficiaries to also benefit. So what we were saying was that the LEAP beneficiaries, hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Great. So what you were saying is that the LEAP beneficiaries are beneficiaries who fall under the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection, and they are not necessarily farmers. So if you are an intervention for farmers, just target the farmers very well. Now, we have been getting information from our members across the 8 regions that we are affected. As we speak, what we have been told is that the agric directors are telling them to go and register because registration is still ongoing. So even though we're told that on the 10th of October, that's when distribution was going to start. If you go to all the districts, you are being told that it's now that they are doing registration. Now, even with the registration, the farmers are supposed to register on the app. After you register, you are supposed to have extension people come to your farm to map your farm to complete the exercise. As I'm speaking to you, almost all the districts that our members are, they have few extension officers who are attending to large number of farmers. So they are not able to go to the farms to map their farms. So there are several farmers who have registered, but they don't have their farms mapped. So currently, that's the stage we are in. And the actual distribution itself, when you speak to the agric director.
Hold on for me, because I want to get clarity. How many of your members have been registered?
So, it is based on every district have their own data. Now, when we go to, there are some few districts that we engage our farmers on. For instance, if you go to a place like Nanumba North, our farmers who are there, who want to register, they're just about 3,000. Those who have been actually able to register on the platform are less than 1,000.
The whole of Ghana?
And even if they're less than 1,000.
1,000
no,
for
I'm
the
talking
district?
about just one district.
Okay.
I'm just talking one district.
So do you have the figure for the whole of the country, all your members? How many have been registered? Because you were categorical when you said that no farmer has received the relief items. So we just want to clarify at what stage government is at as we speak. And because you are on the grounds, you are engaging the farmers. I want specific figures as to how many people or members have been registered.
So to get the actual data, unfortunately, we do not control the back end of the data. Okay. That data sits with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture under the platform. The last time I checked, that database had registered about 800,000 farmers. But this comprises farmers all over the country under the PFAG 2.0. So it is difficult to distill and know whether which of them registered for the relief items, which of them registered for the PFAG 2.0. So the information I'm giving is limited to the farmers who are supposed to be affected by the dry spell. And because the registration is what we're telling you, we have gathered data from our own members who have been able to register and who have their accounts mapped. And as I was saying, if you go to a place like Nanumba North, the number of our members who have registered on the platforms are less than 1,000. Now, out of this number, even less, just about 10 or 20% of them have had their farms mapped. So meaning, if you don't have your farms mapped, you are not going to benefit from this registration. And our interaction with our members shows that it is almost the same across all the districts. So there's currently a problem with registration by farmers across the country. Because one, the logistics in terms of the equipment are inadequate. Two, the personnel who are supposed to do the registration are inadequate. Because in instances, you have one extension officer attending to over 30,000 farmers. So how is he or she going to register all these people and go to their farms and go and map the farms? So that's the bigger thing we are confronting with. So if you engage the agric directors, you are being told that the farmers should go and register. Meanwhile, those are the things that the farmers are facing. So if you're not able to solve that problem, how are you able to now start the distribution process? And when we engaged almost all the agric directors in the respective districts, they've not received the items yet for them to start distribution. So as far as I know, we don't know of any distribution going on. What we know is that the beneficiaries who are under the LEAP program are getting some cash transfer. But because they are not in the scheme of the farmers, we can't say that they are part of the farmers who were affected by the flood, by the dry spell.
Bismarck, we have just barely a month to the elections. I know that political parties have been engaged in association. As a Peasant Farmers Association, what key policy would you like to see introduced in the next administration that would help ease the plight of farmers?
Yeah, thank you very much. And it's good because during the uh, uh, development of the manifestos, we had the privilege of speaking to about 3 or 4 parties who came to meet us to get our input. And we're very clear on the kind of issues that are affecting our farmers and what needs to be done. In the first place, I think that there's a broken record when it comes to our agricultural infrastructure. Our issues about our irrigation facilities, mechanization centers, storage facilities. I think for that one, we all agree that there's a huge gap that needs to be filled. And every party that is coming to power is something that they have to address. Now, the issue of agricultural financing is so critical that we feel that the policies by the political parties or the proposals do not seem to address that issue very well. When you talk to all of them, they talk about establishing either an SME bank or women's bank. The establishment of the bank itself is not a solution because if you put up an SME bank or a women's bank and they are still giving loans at a rate of 30%, 20%, you've done nothing. So the issue is about how do we ensure that there is a policy or regulatory space that allows for farmers to be able to access facility at an interest rate of less than double digits. For us, that's the most important thing. The other point that is of critical importance to us is how we politicize the implementation of every policy in Ghana here. Since time immemorial, anytime any government puts in place an agricultural policy, we realize that they consult us for the design of the policy and the formulation. And we all agree on a path of implementation. But when they start implementation, they deviate from what is agreed. They bring on board their people, the issues of corruption, rent seeking comes into place. So you realize that eventually the actual farmers do not benefit from the policy that we feel is working well. So we are saying that instead of always looking at the political heads leading the implementation, we should be able to empower the regional and district agric directors, who are the direct implementers of programs, give them the free role to do their work. Unfortunately, politicians don't do that. So they come in place and then they hijack the whole system. And that's something that we feel that in the new government that's coming into place, they should look at it very well.
Okay.
How do we ensure that we don't allow politicians to dictate what? Because anytime you allow them, they bring in their cronies and then they mar the whole process.
Okay.
So this is some of the key highlights that we feel that any new party that is coming on, they should be looking at to ensure that the farmers' concerns are highly addressed.
Okay. Thank you, Bismarck Owusu-Nortey. He is director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, for your time here on News 6. Well,